boy. The Oscars, the Academy Awards, the award ceremony that universally everybody only watches ironically, right? I don't think anybody unironically enjoys the Oscars anymore, correct? Don't get me wrong, the Oscars still certainly take a nice big W every once in a while, but they also have taken a lot of big fat L's, some of which we're actually going to be talking about today. Fuck the Oscars, man. Like, the Oscars are such bullshit, and I say that even though, like, look, the stuff they nominate, at the end of the day, the vast majority of the stuff they nominate is going to be, like, good stuff, and it's like, yeah, I mean, what you nominated is good, but, like, what about all this other stuff that you guys are just seemingly, like, ignoring? That's where the tension is for most people when it comes to the Academy Awards. Now it seems like everybody just watches them ironically for their own personal enjoyment. They just tune in to see whatever cringy jokes they're gonna make just because they want to be able to say that they experienced it live. There have been so many Oscar controversies over the past few decades, and to say that this year's nominations have stirred up a little bit of controversy would be the understatement of the century. But nevertheless, I'm going to take a deep dive here, look into all of these nominations, give my thoughts on all of the films that I've seen and whether or not I think they're deserving of certain nominations, and, you know, who knows what other tangents we might get off onto. Let's take a look. Also, I'm sorry if I look a little rough around the eyes. I just spent like the last half hour scrubbing off a bunch of very heavy, thick eyeliner that I was wearing today because I'm fabulous, but that's not the point of the video. Let's get into these nominations. Okay, we're jumping right in with the Best Picture nominees. Now, I'm going to list off all of them, and then I'm only going to talk about the films in these nominees that I've actually seen. I do have some catching up to do in that regard. So the full list is as follows: American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Oh, Barbie's in there too. I almost missed Barbie. Yes, Barbie is nominated for Best Picture. Okay, so embarrassingly enough, the only movies in the Best Picture noms that I've actually seen are Barbie and Oppenheimer. And I call myself a film fan. Guys, look, 2023 was an absolutely crazy year for me. I graduated high school. I went overseas to Scotland to perform on stage at the largest international theater festival in the world. Then as soon as we got back from that, I started college, which caused me to move literally all the way across the country. I had to upend my entire life, so forgive me if I missed a few things. I've heard great things about all these other movies, and I definitely plan on watching them, but I can only give my actual credible thoughts on Barbie and Oppenheimer. Both films that I absolutely adored. I have not done formal reviews for them on my channel yet, though I probably will. You know, it seems appropriate now, if now or never, honestly. I'm probably gonna get some hate for this, but while I loved Barbie, and I love that it was nominated for Best Picture, out of these nominees, I think Oppenheimer should take it. That movie just seems like the culmination of everything that Christopher Nolan's career has been building up to for decades at this point. But look, if Barbie wins it, hell yeah, feminists win. We love that, especially giving the acting and directing snub that I do know about, even though I haven't looked at the official list of nominees yet. They could definitely use that win. But in regards to my own personal opinion, I would love if Oppenheimer won that award. It just seems right. And also, I'm sort of basing this opinion on what is most likely to win. And out of all these, come on, Oppenheimer's gonna win. Nobody's fooling anyone. Oppenheimer's gonna win. All right, now we're into the Best Directing category, which only has 5 nominees, which is interesting. We have Justin Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. We have Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. The only movie I can talk about objectively in here is Oppenheimer. Once again, I think Christopher Nolan's gonna take it. Now here's the elephant in the room. Greta Gerwig snubbed his directing for Barbie. Gonna say this right now. Absolute bullshit. It is such fucking bullshit that Greta Gerwig did not get this nomination. They could have at the very least nominated her. Like, that's the thing. You don't have to give her the Oscar, necessarily, but at least throw her into the nominees. I mean, it was the biggest movie of the year, the highest grossing movie of the year, and so much of that is because of Greta Gerwig's amazing direction. The way she directed it, it was such a gleefully bright and entertaining and fast-moving film, which contributes to how well it did at the box office. People just kept going back to see it. But also the fact that she was able to make a film that could have easily become your basic run-of-the-mill IP movie that's really just sort of a giant commercial for whatever IP it's based on. That's not what Greta Gerwig did. She wrote, for all accounts and purposes, an original screenplay inspired by an IP and managed to craft a very deep and introspective story. Through the comedy genre, nonetheless, which is even harder to do. The fact that she was snubbed for directing, one of the biggest snubs of all time, in my opinion. That being said, I'm very happy to see all these other names on here, but it's just like, this was kind of the whole point that Barbie was making just as a film. Anyway, Best Actor in a Leading Role. We have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, never heard of that before, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Once again, I can only speak on Oppenheimer. I think Cillian Murphy should take it out of these guys. I'm going to do an update video when the actual Oscar wins come out. By then, I will have watched all of these other movies, and I'll be able to give more fleshed out opinions. But even not seeing the other movie, like, Cillian Murphy became a completely different person for that role. Like, he just embodied Oppenheimer so much for the purposes of that narrative. I think he should take it. Also, just give him an Oscar already. He's been deserving of one forever. Best Actress in a Leading Role. We have Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, which is making history as the first Native American woman to ever be nominated for Best Actress in a Leading Role at the Oscars. Hats off to you. We have Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. Now, while I have not seen Poor Things, I have seen some clips. I've seen a lot of the discussion around it, and from what it sounds like, Emma Stone is very deserving of that. She's already won an Oscar. I think she got it for La La Land. Go ahead and give her another one while you're at it, though. Once again, I'm kind of hoping Lily Gladstone gets it, because she's already made history, but make even bigger history. And also, while I have not seen Killers of the Flower Moon, I would assume her performance is amazing. One, she was nominated, but also just the subject matter of that movie, the fact that she is Native American, I imagine it hit very close to home for her, and I imagine that worked itself into her performance beautifully. So we'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to come down to Lily Gladstone or Emma Stone when it comes to the big debate as to who should win. Oh yeah, and another massive snub, Margot Robbie not getting nominated. Bullshit again. I'm not going to give all my opinions on that. It would probably just spark a firestorm in the comment section. It's bullshit. Anyone who knows me knows why I think that. Okay, Best Actor in a Supporting Role. We have Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction. We have Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon. Man, this guy is like basically towards the end of his life and he's still getting Oscar nominations. Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. Really happy to see that one. Ryan Gosling for Barbie. Obviously, I'm happy to see that one. Although, once again, Ryan Gosling getting nominated and Margot Robbie not getting nominated kind of just proves the whole point of the movie. But anyway, then we have Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Love seeing Mark Ruffalo get some recognition outside of the MCU. Honestly, I think it's going to go to either Downey or Gosling. And again, this is not entirely based on my own opinion, even though I have only seen Oppenheimer and Barbie. That's probably the only two movies out of all the movies that got nominated that I've actually sat down and watched full. In full. But also, as we all know, the Oscars tend to kind of be a popularity contest over artistic merit contest, and if we're going between those two, it's either going to go to Downey or Gosling, and honestly, it might go to Gosling. It honestly might go to Gosling. I would not be surprised if it went to Gosling. Although, Downey gave a truly incredible performance in Oppenheimer. I loved every second of him on screen. Then we have Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. Hell yes. I'm going to say just give it to her. Daniela Brooks for The Color Purple. America Ferrera for Barbie. Honestly, Emily Blunt or America Ferrera. And honestly, you should probably give it to America Ferrera after snubbing Margot Robbie. Just give some acting recognition to that film, because it was incredible what those actresses pulled off. Jodie Foster for Nyad, and then Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I think it's going to come down to Blunt or Ferrera once again. I honestly think it should go to Ferrera. Best Writing for Adapted Screenplay. We have American Fiction, written for the screen by Cord Jefferson. Barbie, written by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. Love seeing that on there. Oppenheimer, written by Christopher Nolan. Poor Things, which was by Tony McNamara. And then The Zone of Interest by Jonathan Glazer. Oppenheimer should get it. Moving on. Alright, Best Writing, Original Screenplay, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, first time we've seen that movie on this list, and then Past Lives. Honestly, I don't really have any sense to offer to this conversation. That was not a good sentence. I can't even offer my 2 cents into this conversation. I haven't seen any of these nominees, though I am very happy to see The Holdovers getting some recognition, even if I haven't seen it. Best Animated Feature, we have The Boy and the Heron, Hayao Miyazaki. Hell yes. Anime recognition on an American Oscar Academy Award stage. Give it to me, please. Elemental. Look, my boyfriend loves that movie. Let's just go on to the next film. Nimona, never heard of that. Robot Dreams, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, a movie that I still haven't fucking seen. It's on Netflix. I should probably just go ahead and watch it. I say give it to The Boy and the Heron. Give it to The Boy and the Heron. Movie was incredible. Give it to that one. As far as who I think is actually gonna win it, it's probably gonna be Spider-Verse, just because, you know, American bias. Best International Feature Film. That, you know, it's funny, I am Italian, so I should know how to pronounce that, but I don't. I mean, one, is that an I or an L? Is it Io Capitano? Io Capitano. Io Capitano. Am I being racist to myself? Perfect Days. Society of the Snow. Give it to Society of the Snow. I watched Society of the Snow yesterday, and that's what I was gonna do a video on tonight, but then I just determined I didn't have the emotional strength to talk about all my feelings on that movie tonight, so I decided to sit down and do a much easier video where I just have to look at a list and give my lackluster commentary on all of it. But Society of the Snow, that should win. We have The Teacher's Lounge and The Zone of Interest. Now, there's other categories on here that I'm gonna skip because I'll honestly really have nothing to offer to the table. We're skipping Best Animated Short Film as well as Best Live Action Short Film, Best Documentary Short Film, on to Best Cinematography. We have El Conde, cinematography by Eduardo Lachman. We have Killers of the Flower Moon, cinematography by Rodrigo Prieto. We have Maestro, cinematography by Matthew Lebatic. We have Oppenheimer, cinematography by Hoyt van Hoytema. And then we have Poor Things, cinematography by Robbie Ryan. I'm gonna say it should either go to Poor Things or Oppenheimer, and I kind of prefer Oppenheimer, but once again, Oppenheimer is the only movie I've seen out of all these nominations. Best Costume Design, it should go to Barbie. I'm just gonna get that right out of the way, but the full list of nominees are Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. It's gonna go to Barbie. I think that's the one thing that we can all agree Barbie is absolutely going to win. It's this and Best Original Song, which I know that What Was I Made For was nominated, and I'm just Ken. Best Costume Design should go to Barbie, no debate about that. Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. Barbie isn't in Best Makeup and Hairstyling? I guess more of the emphasis was given on the actual costumes themselves, but I don't know, it still feels like kind of a big snub for me. I'm gonna say Society of the Snow, and again, I'm gonna save my in-depth thoughts on that movie for my individual video that I do on it, which will probably end up being a very long video, but what I will say why I think it should win Best Makeup and Hairstyling is that the makeup and hairstyling that they did to those actors in that movie, I felt like I was there. Like, I truly believe that these actors were dying. I truly believed that they were starving and malnourished. It was incredible. It was some of the best and most convincing makeup work I've ever seen. So I honestly think Society of the Snow should get it. Who do I think is gonna get it? It's probably either Oppenheimer or Poor Things, and I'm probably gonna give it to Poor Things. All right, Best Original Song. Music opinions on the internet have never caused controversy. We have The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot. No idea what that is. We have I'm Just Ken from Barbie. It Never Went Away from American Symphony. And then we have Wazazi, a song from My People. Wazazi, I don't know how to pronounce that, and I just butchered it, and I'm so sorry. I haven't seen the film, from Killers of the Flower Moon. Then we have What Was I Made For from Barbie. So both of the original songs from Barbie got nominated. One of them's gonna win. I'm gonna say What Was I Made For is probably gonna win just because of the emotional appeal that it has. But I'm Just Ken is also fabulous. I think it should go to either of those. Then we have Best Original Score, American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Oh man, I mean, of course, it's John Williams. Of course he was gonna get nominated because nothing else from that movie is gonna get nominated. Then we have Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I think it should go to Oppenheimer. I'm sorry, Oppenheimer's gonna sweep, and I'm I'm okay with Oppenheimer sweeping. And I can hold that opinion while still holding the opinion that Barbie got the shit snubbed out of it. And that's bullshit. They were both incredible films. I don't want to discount one movie just because of another movie's social value. I think they're both amazing movies, and I'm just trying to judge them as individual pieces of art. Alright, best production design. We have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, and Poor Things. I think it should go to Barbie. I don't think any further discussion is needed. Although, from what I've seen of Poor Things might get it. Best film editing. We have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killer of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Give it to Oppenheimer. I'm sorry, I'm like rushing through these now because I'm now realizing how boring this video probably is. Best sound. We have The Creator. Wow, there's that movie suddenly sneaking into these Oscar nominations, and I shamefully so have not seen it yet. I promise you I'm going to catch up on all of these things before the actual Oscars occur. We have The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Thank you. That movie got so overlooked by the Barbenheimer craze of 2023. Dead Reckoning Part 1 is in my top 3 Mission Impossible movies. It was genuinely so fucking good. So excited for Part 2. Cannot wait. Then we have Oppenheimer and The Zone of Interest. I think it should go to Oppenheimer, and I also just think that Oppenheimer is going to win, just probability-wise anyway. I think Oppenheimer is going to take it. But I'm still very happy to see Mission Impossible on there. That was a good-ass movie. Best visual effects. We have The Creator getting another nomination. Godzilla -1! Yes, guys. I saw Godzilla -1 in theaters. Best visual effects that I've seen in a movie in 10 years. I'm just gonna throw that exaggeration out there because I think it might not be an exaggeration. The visual effects in Godzilla -1 were fucking breathtaking. I believed everything that was on screen in that film. Absolutely incredible. We have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and Napoleon. Notice how Oppenheimer isn't on the visual effects category because apparently there were no CG shots in that movie. I think Godzilla -1 should get it, and I honestly think it might get it. Alright, and it looks like that concludes our list of Oscar nominations. Honestly, I'm pretty pleased with all of these nominations, except for, you know, the Barbie snubs, obviously. Greta Gerwig getting snubbed for Best Director, that's bullshit. Margot Robbie getting snubbed for Best Actress, that's bullshit. We all know that that's bullshit. And also the fact that it was nominated for Adapted Screenplay and not Original Screenplay, that's also bullshit. Just bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But honestly, most of my upset feelings with these nominations are just around Barbie. I think they nailed it with everything else, and I think the Barbie snubs are sort of distracting people from the fact that, aside from Barbie, they did pretty good this year in regards to the movies that they nominated. I think they did a pretty good job, but let's never let them forget about the Barbie snubs. That is stupid. It's bullshit. As I've already said a million times in this video, that's dumb. It should have gotten nominated. But nevertheless, I'm still happy with all the movies that did get nominated. From what I'm able to see, I'm going to catch up on all those movies so that I can give you guys more of an introspective commentary when we actually find out who wins what. And maybe I'll do a live stream reacting live to the ceremony, but honestly, Oscar ceremonies can be unbearable sometimes to watch live. I honestly think I just might want to do a video a couple days after the fact, giving my in-depth opinion on all of the wins and all of that stuff. Anyway, guys, this was just a quick little video that was super easy to sit down and record. I just wanted to get something out to you while I'm working on my video on Society of the Snow, because that's going to take me a minute to write, and yeah, that's basically all. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on bell notifications so you get notified every time I upload new content. Also, be sure to check out my podcast titled the Headspace Podcast, available now on all major podcast streaming platforms. And be sure to check out the very, very short teaser trailer for my upcoming horror short film, Just Go to Sleep. I will tag that right up above. Go and check it out. And that is all. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. I will see you in the next video, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.